Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is the Cali Truck Stop Theater, and I want to thank you and welcome you to the YouTube channel. And I just wanted to make a quick video. It's a driving tip, and because it is, well, we are deep into winter right now, and I wanted to. Uh, I wanted to give you a tip. Now, this is just in case you don't know. There's people that do know, and there's people that have better ideas than I do, but I'm just putting out my 2 little cents. And maybe hold on just a second.
Home. Messaging.
Okay, I'm out here. In Texas. Out here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm getting unloaded currently right now, and so I just had to make an annotation on the computer because I just heard them in the back of the truck. They're getting ready to unload. So, but anyways, I just wanted to give you all a tip. Those who are experienced drivers, they pretty much already know this, or they have maybe even a better idea. But for those who are not so experienced, those of you who are coming out here for the first time driving in the winter time, this will be pretty helpful to you, I believe. So because we are in winter, and if you're in an area, if you're driving in an area where temperatures are going to be really cold, and you're going to have some kind of moisture, whether if it's going to be rain, snow, or fog, this is going to happen to you at some point in your career, is that you are going to have a buildup of ice on your truck. Now, if you're in these areas and this happens, one thing that you need to do is that you need to be careful on the roadways. During the wintertime, there is a great potential for ice on the road. So, for your new drivers who don't know how to detect whether or not if there's ice on the road or anything like that, take a look at your surroundings. Okay, you have to take a look at your surroundings. If you can't, sometimes it's going to be pretty hard to see the ice on the roads, especially when you're driving at freeway speeds. It's going to be really hard to see whether or not the roads are icing up. But regardless if they're icing up or not, if there's any kind of inclement weather, you always want to take it easy on the roadways. If you got to slow down, slow down. It's best that you do slow down. Keep plenty of distance between you and the car or object in front of you. Okay, because when it gets cold out there and there's a potential for icing, you want to keep as much space in between you and that object that's in front of you to avoid or to lessen the impact of a collision. Okay, so it's going to be hard to see on the road whether or not you have ice or whatever on the road, but there are some ways that you can figure this out, and you have to look and pay attention to your surroundings. Okay, and these are the ways that you can figure out whether or not if the roads are iced or if they have the potential for being iced really soon. Now, when you're out here driving in snow and rain, and you're driving and you got traffic alongside you, you got other vehicles in front of you and alongside you, when you have moisture, a significant amount of moisture on the ground, you're going to notice that the tires from other vehicles are going to kick up what I call Rooster Tails, and that is basically it's the water that's on the ground on the road that's being kicked up by the tires of the vehicle that's around you or in front of you. It's pretty much the road spray. but I call them Rooster Tails because when it sprays up in the in the backside, you see how the spray comes out in some ways. Looks like a rooster tail. So if you start to see that the road spray is minimizing, or there's no road spray whatsoever, then you know that the roads are icing up or have already begun to ice. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is to, now you look at the you look at the objects that you're passing by, trees, plants, bushes, light poles and things like that. Sometimes ice will form on these objects, and if you happen to see ice there, most likely you have ice on the ground. Okay. Now, as far as on your truck is concerned, ice is going to build up on your truck as you're driving down the road, and you get moisture that gets kicked up from the road, or if it's coming from the sky or what have you. If the temperatures are just right, you're going to have ice forming on your truck. So you look at the extremities of your truck, the mirrors. If you got antennas on your truck, look at the antennas. Even the antennas on other vehicles. Look at if you can see any ice building up on your windows, or anything like that. If you see ice building up somewhere on your vehicle, then there's a great chance that ice is building up on the ground. Hence, you need to be careful, because if you hit a patch of ice, depending on how big that patch of ice is, you may lose control, big time. So yeah, be careful of that. Now, you look at if you look at the antennas on your truck and they're caking up with ice, you're gonna notice, because you're gonna see the ice caked up on it. But on top of that, your antennas are gonna be flip-flopping all through the wind on the roadway, and that's just because of its weight imbalance. You got ice building up on there, and so it's starting to wave back and forth, and sometimes it can look sometimes it looks like it can wave rather violently. So what I suggest, that if your antennas start doing that, you can better believe, you must believe that there's going to be ice caked up on other parts of the truck, and that's pretty much any portion of the truck that's going into the wind. Pretty much, basically look at where the ice is building up. That's where the water is coming from, where the moisture is coming from. As you're cutting through the air, it's gonna come from the front. It's gonna cake up on the front side. So if you're seeing ice building up, you do want to pull over whenever you can and knock the ice off of the truck. Also, you do want to want to make sure that when you are stopping, then where you're pulling over at is, well, first of all, when you're stopping, you always want to make sure that that you're stopping in a nice, easy, and smooth motion, so that you don't end up sliding or skidding, anything like that. So once you have stopped, make sure that you have stopped in a safe place. I wouldn't advise stopping on the side of a busy roadway because of the ice. If there's ice on the roadway, you may have stopped safely and you're outside the truck, but the other people that are driving on the road may be oblivious to the ice, or they just might lose control at that particular point and slam right into you. So you don't want that to happen. There has been people that have died because a vehicle has swerved and hit them because they were on the side of the road, right? And it just like right there, they were just right there at that particular portion of the road there, and just so happens that another vehicle slid right down and slid right into them. So you need to be safe about it when you stop. So once you do stop, you need to go out and you need to knock the ice off the front of your vehicle, especially if you have one of those radar systems, the safety radar systems on the front of your truck that detect objects in front of you. Make sure that you get the ice off of there, because if your system is sensitive like mine is, it could overreact, and it could cause the truck to try to start braking, and oftentimes it'll lock up the brakes on you, and you can go out and you can lose control that way. So make sure that radar system down there is clear of the ice. So how do you get the ice off? Well, there's many different ways to get the ice off, but I would say that the quickest way to get the ice off is using like a rubber mallet to break the ice off, and knock it off, or have a scraper or something like that. But if you got icing on your windows or on your mirrors or something like that, do not use a hammer to it, or you shouldn't use a hammer on the truck at all to beat the ice off. But don't use the mallet either to try and knock off or break up the ice, because of the temperature, your glass and your mirrors and stuff like the glass in general is going to be really, really rigid. So any kind of tapping on it, you could run the risk of cracking or breaking the glass because of the temperature. So get yourself a rubber mallet. If you don't have a rubber mallet, you need to get one. And this is what I mean. You want to get yourself a rubber mallet. It's a rubberized hammer, okay? And it has a large surface on it, so that you don't. It's harder for you to damage or dent up your vehicle with that. Okay, so do not use a hammer. This is the hammer. Okay, this hammer will dent up your truck. It will break stuff. Don't use this to knock off the ice. Okay, use a rubber mallet, and don't go Thor. Don't go Thor on your truck either. Just use enough force to break the ice off. Break the ice off, or get yourself a scraper and scrape it off. So that's my tip. And just be careful out there on being out here in the wintertime. Well, be extra careful. Make sure that you got all your coolants in your truck. Make sure your tires are good to go, according to your specifications, that either the company or DOT standards. And just be safe and have as much fun as you can out here on the roadways. Okay, so I'll come back with another video and some more tips later on. So see ya.